Hello friends, welcome back again. It's been a long time, probably about more than a year since I've done a video, since I've used this camera actually and my ring light. So there's a reason why I've been away for such a long time, and I think now is the perfect time, or I think probably the perfect time to come back. I'm in a better space now. I think I'm in a better position to talk about things that I'll be talking about. Probably a year ago I'd talk about them, but not with so much wisdom that I've gained over the past few months or past year, in terms of the depth of the topics that I usually touch on. Some of the things I've talked about prior me going away, and I think some of the topics that I've talked about, I've gained more wisdom and more knowledge and everything regarding those topics, which makes it worth that I would re-explore or retouch on those topics. So first of all, let me start by thanking you guys for supporting the channel. It's been growing ever since I left the channel. The last time, I think the last video on the last time I uploaded a video, we were sitting on around 200 or 300 subbies. Now we're currently sitting at 884. So the channel has been growing even though I haven't been active on it. And one of the videos is sitting at like 25,000 views that I never imagined would happen, especially since the channel has been inactive for such a long time. So I'm thanking you guys for that support. And so for some of you guys that don't know me, my name is Olutuoyi, and if you've been following my Instagram, you'll see that I embarked on a journey of Uktwasa. So it's been, I think, a year long and some months now, because I started Uktwasa in August 2020. So it's over a year now. So ever since I started that journey, I decided that I'm gonna do away with my YouTube videos, so that I take the time to myself, get to learn the journey itself, dizolele indlela, and be present fully, because it's more of a journey of self-transformation, learning more about the spiritual world and learning about the world in general, how people function and all of that. So I think I needed to be present in that space for me to be able to understand, gain wisdom, and be at a better position to talk about things that need to be talked about. And then I discovered that a majority of the things that we thought we know, we don't know. And also a lot of people are hungry for knowledge. They are hungry for a lot of things. Some people want to know, but there's no one to tell them. Some of them don't even know that they don't know. So with me, doing more of this more of these videos, it's sort of like helps people. And I've been on my WhatsApp. I've been talking about things, uploading status messages, trying to teach people on things that are happening out there in terms of the spiritual world and everything. And also I've done a live video, I think once or twice, with some of my fellows. We were talking about the spiritual world and everything. People were asking questions, we were answering those questions. So that's when I realized that no, actually people are hungry for knowledge. They want to know a lot about what's happening, about their lives, their spiritual lives, spiritual connections and everything. Some have weird dreams. They want to understand a lot of weird things happening that they want to understand. So ever since people knew that Nyatwasa You know, they've been asking questions on my DMs, and I think some of the live videos that I've done. So the most common question is, how did I know that Ndiatwasa? You know, that's a common question out there. You know, everyone is curious in terms of that aspect. Second one is, why is it that a lot of people now seem like Bayatwasa? You know, so I think so. The topic of the day, the purpose of this video is to address those two issues. So in terms of other issues that you want to know more about, you can drop them on the comment section. You can talk about the questions. Sorry, you can ask your questions, or suggest topics that we may talk about in subsequent videos. So how did I know that Ndiatwasa? First question, how did I know that Ndiatwasa? So for me, by the time I started Uktwasa, by the time I began my journey, I had already known that I have a spiritual gift, and yeah, but basically the time had come for me to actually begin the process. So I started knowing 2019. I was a Christian then, a strong Christian who I prayed, I fasted and everything. I would do all of those things, but weird things started happening in that process, that led me to visit a traditional healer who is Sangom, who told me a lot of things. Some of the things she told me, I already knew about them, because I once met a prophet when I was still in varsity, probably 2015 if I'm not mistaken, who told me that I had a spiritual gift of seeing things. I had a spiritual gift of dreaming, everything basically, and that I had my prayers were strong. I think I've touched on this on my previous videos, but at the time I hadn't started the journey. It was just a mere thing that I have these gifts, but in terms of how to explore them further, or I don't want to use the wrong term, but to unmask those gifts, I didn't know at the time how to go about it, until it made sense that no, actually I needed to embark on the journey of Uktwasa. So that's when a lot of things started making sense for me as a person. But I realized that each and every one of us has their own journey. Not everyone is meant to be Atwasa. So it doesn't mean to say that the fact that you are spiritual, you have to I'll keep on burping, guys, so please excuse that one. So we're not the same. It doesn't mean that every one of us is Uktwasa, ne? So it doesn't mean that for you to exercise your spiritual connections and everything, you have to do it via the traditional way. So if your spirit tells you that do it via the church route, there's nothing wrong with that. If it says do away with the church route and do it via the the ancestral way, you do that. So you do what works for you basically, but also your spirit is gonna guide you towards what you should be doing. For instance, I started as a Christian, but then later on, certain things started happening, that made me to divert from the other route to the other route, and I'm comfortable where I am. So I don't condemn anyone, but if you have questions or some things don't make sense, probably you have to dig up more and you have to understand yourself first, and what your intention is, what your gift is, and what your role is in this life. So everything basically revolves around that, because you have different gifts. Some have gifts of seeing things while sleeping, while dreaming, while some can see while they are awake. Some have a gift of preaching, some have a gift of singing. We heal through different modalities, so you can't take every modality and box it into one entity and think that it's gonna work. So which is why I'm saying don't condemn anyone for believing in what they believe in, for as long as it heals your soul and it heals the next person. then probably you're doing the right thing. So that's basically how I knew that Ndiyathwasa. I've known for a very long time that yeah, there's a gift somewhere, somehow, ne? But as time went on, it became clearer that okay, actually it's via the ancestral route. So there was certain things that were happening with me, but they were not weird things per se, ne? So I didn't think that basically they're mostly linked to ancestral things in the beginning, until I really had to accept the calling, because yeah, weird things started happening. But I had already known that basically I have to embark on the ancestral route, but I was just delaying. I'm like, I'll see it as time goes by. But yeah, Ban Basekai were tired of that. They were like, now's the time, come join us, and do this thing. So I don't regret making that decision. It has grown me as a person. It has grown me spiritually. It has, healed me in many aspects I can ever think of, possible, or I ever thought of possible. And it continues to grow me even till this day. I keep on evolving as a person. I keep on evolving as a man. I keep on evolving as a spiritual being. I'm not fully there yet, because I'm still in the process of ukuthwasa. I'm not igqirha elipheleleyo. Yeah, so basically that's that. So we're in 11 minutes now. So next, so if basically I haven't really touched on how did I know that Ndiyathwasa, probably you have more questions. Or one other thing I always say is that if the question of how did you know that you're Twasa, is within your mind, probably there's something happening with you that you feel like you have to ask the next person so that you understand what's happening with you. Probably there's something. You wouldn't ask that if there's nothing that's probably troubling you. Probably something is consuming you inside that you want to ask that question. So the fact that you want to ask that question, probably there's something in there. I'm not saying you're Twasa, but probably there's something in there that you need to explore, of which I'm not going to be the one who's going to give you an answer. Okay, you have to go to someone that you know and trust, or someone who's recommended. Okay, my battery is dying, I think I'm going to have to cut this one. Okay, so to continue where we left off, so basically when I answer how did I know that I have a calling, how we know is not the same, how we express it is not the same. So I wouldn't say mine is a gold standard response to basically knowing that okay, now Ndiyathwasa, but if there's something bothering you, probably there is something. Okay, so next one is why is it that a lot of people seem like Bayatwasa now? So to make it practical, I want to make it practical, ne? In the sense that it's not going to be biased how I answer it. First things first, a lot of people, prior this era that we live in now, when exposed to the things of ukuthwasa, when exposed to traditional things, ancestral things, and all of that, there came a point whereby traditional things were banned. You couldn't practice. It was taboo to engage in all of these things. It was illegal basically to be a traditional healer, to even embark on that journey. And then so over time, the answer to a lot of questions was the Bible, so much that we found comfort in that, so much that the next person who wanted to explore the other side, seemed like they're doing a taboo thing. It wasn't easily acceptable that you do it, either by yourself, either by your family, or either by the community or church members. It's a whole lot of things that hindered the actual process from happening. So now we have a curious generation. We have a curious, you know, yeah, curious generation, if I may put it. We are more inclined to, you know, seek and have answers and seek responses towards the ancestral things. I don't know why that's happening, but I can almost anticipate why it's happening. I don't have all the answers, but the spirit is sort of like waking up because it's been dormant for a very long time, and it's finding its way out. So people who are supposed to embark on the journey from other generations in the family never did. So there are pending issues. So it's all pending issues that should have been addressed long ago. It's new issues that are arising as we move along, because as we grow as a nation, as we grow as a people, we constantly encounter problems, we constantly evolve. So a lot of things have been affecting us. And also we also say that curses are generational. So it's an entire lineage of curses and illnesses and diseases and all of that haven't been healed. So now, fortunately enough, it's easy for the spirit to manifest itself, and it's not a so taboo thing to do now, because it's no longer associated with people who are uneducated. It's no longer associated with poor people altogether. So we tend to shy away from things that have to do with illiteracy in general. But now, since it's been targeting educated people in high places, popular people and all of that, so we now slowly realize now, oh, actually it's not a thing of poor people, it's not a thing of uneducated people, it's just a spiritual thing in general. And spirit thrives better in a spirit thrives better in a knowledgeable society. It gets to manifest itself in a better and healthier way than it would have in a suppressed, diseased environment. So now it's finding its way in a healthy environment, because things are not the same now as they used to be before. So that's why it seems like a lot of people, by Atwasa, there are pending issues. People have been deferring the gift. Some even died without embarking on that journey. So it has been passed on to the next generation and all of that. It can even be passed on if, let's say, Jaman Twasa, I never wanted to embark on the journey. It was gonna go to someone else, probably in the family, or my son, while I'm still alive. So basically it's finding its roots like water. So water tends to leak out through holes, if I may put it. Water seeks the easiest route to flow. So basically it's sort of like that concept that it's shifting, it's finding its ways through the easiest ways to manifest itself. So it's a healthy thing, but now it's coming in waves. It's coming in strong waves. One, we're not prepared for this because we're not really knowledgeable about it. It's been dormant for a very long time. A lot of people have been deferring it. There's a lot of stigma that has been associated with it, but now it's coming in this huge wave. So almost everyone that embarks on the journey is overwhelmed. So obviously we're gonna fumble with it. We're gonna miss important points while at it, but it's not a wrong thing for as long as it's fine. Okay, so my battery keeps dying, so the angles may change. So I was saying, it's not a wrong thing that this thing is happening. We just need to learn to contain it over time, because it has seemed like it's associated with fashion. Everyone wants to be known that Bayatwas and everything. So to make it practical, when a church is growing, for instance, when we were still at school, if we kumfundis, for a prayer session at school, before the session ends, they would ask, who wants to be saved? We all raise our hands. We are saved. We move on with life like that. Yeah? So it wasn't a problem to say who wants to be saved, and then it's now a bad thing that everyone wants to be saved, you know. But now that this thing of ukuthwasa is affecting everyone, it's becoming a problem, so much that now it's like, how genuine is it? We never ask that question, but how genuine are the people that want to be saved, that they really want to be saved, or it's just a facade that they're putting on? So now when it comes to this ancestral thing that everyone is experiencing ukuthwasa, it's becoming a problem. Yeah, we understand that it's a sacred thing, it should be treasured and everything, but also a lot of people out there don't really understand it. So now when everyone is now getting into this whole thing of ukuthwasa, it becomes a question of, why is everyone thwasa, ne? So I understand that concern, because yeah, there's good and the bad to everything, the pros and cons, that whole package. But over time we're gonna polish it because it's not gonna be a taboo thing over time. It's not gonna be an overwhelming thing so much, because a lot of people will be within that community or within that space, so much that it's not a surprising thing that the next person uyathwasa, ne? And probably the numbers will start declining again to reach, you know, a more stable level, that okay, now we've addressed certain issues, generational issues that needed to be, you know, attended to, because not everyone bayithwasa or thwasela, you know, to be a traditional healer. You may go through the journey just to fix problems at home. You may go through the process just to, you know, fix yourself, to grow yourself as a person. Probably your ancestors want to make you a better person for the community, but not heal in terms of herbs and everything, you know, using bones and all of that, because we go through the journey for different purposes. Some become, you know, people of wisdom. You know, they go through the journey so that they have wisdom to teach other people. That's all they do. Some go through the process to know herbal medication. That's all they do. Some go through the process just to see things and be able to tell people things. But in terms of healing through herbs, they refer to someone else. So I think we're gonna go back to it's gonna go down. The numbers will go down, because a lot of pending issues will be corrected, a lot of generational curses, you know, will be addressed, and then we reach a steady state of saying, okay, now how do we move from where we are, so that the problems that we've had in the past don't go back, we don't find ourselves in the same spot again. So that's why basically we have a lot of people abathwasayo ngoku, you know, a lot of it has been suppressed basically for a long time. It hasn't been finding its way to reach people and to do what it has to do. But now it's finding its way. That's why it seems like a lot of people bayathwasa. It seems fashionable, but over time, yeah, I feel like we're gonna reach a state whereby it's no longer a surprising thing. You know, we're gonna get used to it, and then we're gonna learn to contain it, we're gonna learn to preserve it, we're gonna learn to treasure it, because yeah, if we continue the way we're continuing, we're gonna reveal there are a lot of sacred things that shouldn't be revealed, you know, within the process, to preserve, you know, its power, to preserve the sacredness within it, you know. So how we do things, probably we're gonna miss a lot of things, but with time, it's like we are kids, you know, we are kids in this thing. So as we grow, we're gonna learn to be adults within the journey itself, within the space itself, so that we are better knowledgeable people. We are able to teach other people that come into the space on how to handle themselves, how to portray themselves, and how to, you know, preserve the value of ukuthwasa. So I think I've touched on that one. So if you guys have other questions, or if you have other topics that we should touch on, please leave them on the comment section. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on the videos. You can watch other videos as well, and also, you know, learn to understand the platform better. I'll be talking about a lot of other things in the near future, subsequent videos. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you on the next one. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting journey. Thank you.